Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. Today is a week after Yud Beis Tammuz. Yud Beis Tammuz, as we spoke the last couple of weeks, was the Chag HaGeula of the Rebbe Rayatz, of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Yud Beis, Yud Gimel Tammuz is also the Yom Holedes, the birthday of the Frierdiker Rebbe. And today is Yutes, the bris, was the bris of the Frierdiker Rebbe. So since we are now in the week of the bris, the Chag HaGeula, the Yom Holedes, and the Bar Mitzvah of the Frierdiker Rebbe, so I wanted to share with you, which I found, a letter, a Bar Mitzvah letter, that the Rebbe, our Rebbe, wrote to somebody. Now, you know that the Rebbe there were standard letters, Bar Mitzvah letters, Chasana letters, to Chosen Kale, Bas Mitzvah letters, Shloshana Teves, people that moved. These were standard letters that the Rebbe looked over and the Rebbe signed. All the same nusach. But this letter that I found, I don't know if people know about it. Maybe some do. But to me, this is something new, that the Rebbe wrote a Bar Mitzvah letter to someone. And maybe whenever the Rebbe writes a letter, maybe he has this in mind, what I'm going to share with you soon. I want to read this letter soon. But before I share with you this letter, I want to say two things. Excuse me. In the Rebbe's early years, Tovshin Yud Aleph, Tovshin Yud Beis, Tovshin Yud Gimel, the nusach of a Bar Mitzvah letter was the same nusach as the Frierdiker Rebbe's. Meaning that the Frierdiker Rebbe's letter was to the Bar Mitzvah Bacher, and you should grow up to be a Yerushalayim, a Chosid, and a Lamdan. And the Rebbe also wrote with the same Seder, Yerushalayim, Chosid, and Lamdan. After in Tovshin Yud Gimel, I think, based on Gimel, the end, I'm not sure the years, the Rebbe changed. And the Rebbe's standard letters is Chosid first, then Yerushalayim, and then Lamdan. And we once mentioned why the Seder is first Chosid and Yerushalayim and then Lamdan. Not because it sounds, it's Chayil. Chayil means a soldier. Ches, Chosid, Yud, Yerushalayim, Lamdan. That's not the reason. It so happened that it's Chayil. But there was a reason why the Rebbe changed, which now I have no time to go into that. Maybe another time. Also, the Bar Mitzvah Maimer, that the Bacher says, now it's a standard Maimer. Isa b'medrash Tehillim. Then was a different Maimer, Bar Mitzvah Maimer. So that's one change that the Rebbe did, is the Bar Mitzvah. Another thing I want to mention to you, maybe many people know or maybe they don't know, but this I heard from Rabbi Mindel. He wrote it down, so it's 100%. All the Chasana letters, the Bar Mitzvah letters, the standard letters that came out after the Rebbe had the stroke, most of them was signed by a secretary, b'shem of the Rebbe. So people think that there was a hero from the Rebbe that a particular secretary should sign those letters. And as a matter of fact, I remember after the stroke, people before they got married, they didn't know what to do because the secretary that signed the chasana letters was not available, so they had to wait for him. There was no reason for that. Any secretary could have signed the letter. There was no hero from the Rebbe that dafke one secretary should sign that letter. B'shem. Any secretary could have signed the letter. And as a matter of fact, I have chasana letters that another secretary signed. So lav dafke, it had to be that secretary that always signed. It's good to know there was no hero from the Rebbe that dafke. Now why did that secretary 99% sign all the bar mitzvah letters and the chasana letters? Because he typed the letters. He sat down, he typed those letters, so he already signed them. But not because there was a hero from the Rebbe. This is something that people wanted to know, so I thought I would mention that online because that's very important. Now I want to read to you, since it's within the week of the bar mitzvah of the Frierdiker Rebbe, so I want to read to you the letter that I found to a bar mitzvah, which I never saw it before, but this letter is in Hebrew, and then the Rebbe wrote it in English. This letter is signed. Ho'avrech, whoever it's written to, Shalom Avracha. B'mane al ha'idoeh, al dvar yikonsu b'koriv, l'gil mitzvahs. This is the standard. Yerotzin mi Hashem yisborich, Hashem mi ben shlish eser l'mitzvahs, yigadol ben chamesh eser v'chulu, kipsak ha-mishnah, Oves perik hey, v'yosev ha-mode, asmode, ushkide b'limudai, b'toira, b'toiris ha-nigula, v'chein b'toiris ha-chsidis, v'yehadi b'keim ha-mitzvahs, v'Hashem yisborich yatzlichu, liyes chosid, Yerushalayim lamdin b'brocha, the Rebbe signed. Then the Rebbe writes a nun beis. Hine habo lekamon, nichtav b'sfas ha-medina, b'chdei shetuchal im tirtze, lahares lechavecho sheyichye. Beruach mitzvahs v'yahavto l'reyacho kamecho. She'im b'chol inyan tzorich lahetiv l'acherim, alachas kamo v'kamo b'inyoni ha'yadus ha'teire v'ha'mitzvahs. This is the way the Rebbe wrote in Hebrew. Now the Rebbe wrote in English. So in other words, the Rebbe is saying that the letter that I'm going to write to you is written in English, so you can show it to your friends. The ruach of Avteracha Kamecha, every good thing you show it, especially in Yorim that has to do with Yadus Torah mitzvahs. Now the Rebbe continues this bar mitzvah letter in English. At first glance, it is strange that the day of bar mitzvah, which is so important, that the Zohar declares that for the bar mitzvah boy, it is almost like the day of Matan Torah, when Jews first received the Torah and mitzvahs. Yet, in as far as Tachanun is concerned, which is omitted even on the so-called minor holidays, if it does not occur on Shabbos or Yom Tov, Tachanun is said by the Bar Mitzvah Bocher as an any ordinary weekday. So in other words, even though it's by him like Kabbalah Satayre, but Tachanun is said. Where others, by more minor Yom Tovim, you don't say Tachanun, but about Mitzvah Bocher you do say Tachanun. One of the explanations is as follows. When one considers that human capacities are limited in general, especially the capacities of a boy at the start of his 14th year, yet he must assume all the duties and responsibilities of a full-fledged Jew, and moreover, fulfill them with joy, in keeping with the rule, serve God with joy. But the question begs itself, how is he going to carry out all that is expected of him, especially being a member of a people which is a small minority amongst the nations of the world? And even in this country, where one has every opportunity to carry out all religious duties, most people are more interested and engaged in the material aspects of life. So the answer is that the Torah and mitzvahs have been given by God, the creator of the world and of man, and he knows all the difficulties that a Jew may encounter. God has surely provided every Jew with the necessary strength to overcome any and all difficulties to live up to God's will. For God would not expect someone to do something which is beyond his capacity. If, however, there should be a moment of weakness when carrying out God's will is not in the fullest measure of perfection, God, in his infinite goodness, makes it possible to say tachanun, to do tshuva. Indeed, as the Alter Rebbe explains, tshuva is basically for lack of perfection in avodas Hashem. Therefore, on the first day of becoming a full-fledged Jew, and after fulfilling the very first mitzvah, namely Shema, because the bar mitzvah, the day starts from a night before Shema, by which a Jew declares his total commitment to God and obedience to all his commandments, the bar mitzvah boy does say tachnun the following morning and afternoon, for the essence of tachnun is teshuvah, and there is the assurance that nothing stands in the way of tshuva. This knowledge will moreover also stand him in good stead when he will involve himself in the great mitzvah of Yahavta l'reyacha kamecha, to bring the alienated closer in Yiddishkeit, for remembering the rule that nothing stands in the way of teshuvah. He will eagerly and compassionately apply to them, especially as in most cases, the failure to observe fully the Torah and mitzvahs and do extenuating the circumstances. With all the above in mind, and being fortunate in growing up in a family where Yiddishkeit is a living experience in the everyday life, you will start out on your way of life as a full-fledged Jew with confidence, and will proceed from strength to strength and be a source of true pride and joy to your dear parents and family and to all our Jewish people. This is the letter that I found, a bar mitzvah letter. I guess when people read the regular letter, I guess this should be added, or maybe, I don't know, not added, but at least to have that in mind about the Rebbe, about Tachnun, why a bar mitzvah bacher does not say Tachnun. Now the Rebbe mentioned over here, V'ahavto l'reyacha kamoicha. Now we all know that the Frierdiker Rebbe, when he became Bar Mitzvah, the Rebbe Rashab said to him, my son, today is your Bar Mitzvah. Ask me whatever you want, and I will give it to you. Do you know that the Frierdiker Rebbe could have asked anything? The deepest, imagine the Frierdiker Rebbe's Bar Mitzvah, the deepest inyonim in Chasidus, the deepest inyonim in Nigla, and the Rebbe Rashab would have answered him. He told him. What did he ask? What bothered him? The Frierdiker Rebbe when he was 13 years old? Why do we say before davening, Hareini mekabel olai mitzvah sasei shall be ahavto l'reyacho kamoicha? Why don't we say it in the middle of davening? If this is a bakosha, if we're asking. This is what bothered him. It bothered him another person. V'ahavto l'reyacho kamoicha. This is the inyan of, I guess the Rebbe mentioned it also, the inyan for v'ahavto l'reyacho kamoicha. So the Rebbe Rashab answered him an answer that when a child needs something from his father, and let's say his father doesn't want to give him, so he wants to please his father. So by doing something to please his father will give him whatever he wants. So the same thing also here. You say Hareini mekabel mitzvah sasei shabahavto l'reyacho. Since if he'll say that he loves every yid, and the Eibishter loves every yid, that will make the Eibishter that all the brachas that he's asking, Rafa'enu Hashem, and Shema Kaleinu, and everything, the Eibishter is going to listen to him. This is what the Rebbe Rashab answered him. But we see over here that the inyan from a Bar Mitzvah is inyan for V'ahavta l'reyacha kamoicha. Over here we learned a couple days ago, I just want to read a few lines in the Hayom Yom about Avas Yisrael. It says here, Avas Yisrael Shalabah. The Avas Yisrael is the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov's Avas Yisrael, love of a fellow Jew, was beyond imagination. The Maggid said, if only we could kiss a Sefer Torah with the same love that my master kissed the children, means the Baal Shem Tov, when he took them to Cheder as a teacher's assistant. The Baal Shem Tov was a teacher's assistant. So, halavai, we should have this kind of Avos Yisrael. So we see how important that we can learn out from this Avos Yisrael. So, therefore, I chose today this program since I found this letter, and this is in the week of the Frierdiker Rebbe's Bar Mitzvah. So I thought I would share this with you today. In Mitzvah Hashem next week, we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.